Welcome back to another video, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a full-time options trader and founder of Opinicus Holdings, the premier options trading community. Today, we're going to be looking at a trade recap. This is a post-earnings trade that was in JD.com, ticker symbol JD. Let's jump right into the chart. Okay, looking at the JD chart here, as always, prefer to start on the daily chart. And the reason is as a reminder, it's probably going to be a review for a lot of you, but we just want to see the greater context of the setup. Prefer to look at the 1 year daily chart just to get a sense of what am I looking at. In this scenario, what can we say about the stock? The stock is obviously in a range. If you look at this rectangle here, we can pretty much say this thing is just trading sideways. Now, granted, the range is very wide, all the way down from about 40 up into 70 or so. That's a 74% range. And so you do get some pretty significant trend moves within here. But broadly, it's just trading sideways. And so from there, we say, okay, it's trading sideways on the 1 year. Let me come in and look at some of the more recent action. And what do we have here? Now, China stocks usually trade like crap. You can see a lot of the overnight gaps here. Not a very clean pattern, but what we do have is just a trend lower as of the recent, 3 weeks or so, all the way from late January down into today. That's 28 trading days, so a little more than a month, and it's trending lower. So we know that this is trending lower in the near term, but broadly, again, looking at the 1 year, it's in a range. Where are we? The thought is, where are we within the range? We're near the lower portion of the range. And so I'm going to be approaching this trade with no bias. What I really want to look at is the pre-market action and where we're gapping within the kind of very near-term action, the past week or two. We do have just basically another range right through here. And so if we look at the notes, initially what was posted was JD, no bias. Again, when I post a no bias idea, it means I rarely do this, but it does mean that I'm looking at a pivot level within the stock, and I'm going to be long or short based on the reaction at that pivot level. Now, I don't commonly do this because most charts do have a directional bias. This particular chart does not, based on the factors that I just laid out. Big range, recent context is a downtrend, but location within the bigger picture range is near the range low. And so we just watch the action there. And so now from here, what I need is a reference point to get a sense of how the stock is going to move. What I know is that this recent low from February 28th, the low is about 44. Okay, I can see that the stock, if we come into the 2 minute, the stock is gapping down, basically trading down into that 44. Pre-market action actually showed price action defend that 44. It held 44 as support, bounce into the prior day low, reject again. And so if we look at the idea I posted, I was leaning towards the bullish idea if 44 held. That was the main thing to watch here. Watch for strength above 44 to test 45.5, 47.5, 48.5. Now, this idea did not pan out. On a no bias idea, I have a baseline rule that I'm going to wait for the first 2 minute candle to close before getting involved with the trade. And this is to let some price action develop to give me a sense of what's going to happen with this play. I don't need to be the first guy in here. I'd rather just wait a couple of minutes, be correct on direction, and make sure I'm not totally offsides, especially early on in the session. So what we can see here, this is the 2 minute chart. Let me flip over to the 1 minute. Basically, initially, it's just selling. First minute, selling. I'm not going to be looking at a short until I see the reaction against 44. Now it does show weakness there. A little bit of buyers stepped in, but they were just overwhelmed. And so on that minute 3, once I'm able to trade this, I see continued weakness below 44. I'm short. Here is that trade execution. I realized in post-production I forgot to include it. So here it is, shorted through 44, offered out into target 1. Pre-market low, not even an attempt to bounce there, just flushes the pre-market low. And we go into our PT1. Short target on PT1 was the 42.35 area. It was posted in the chat. JD short is triggering 832. You can see that's right when it starts to break that 44 area. Here is that execution again. Initial entry was around 0.55. Exit was at 1, so 100% gain. Now, if you're wondering where we got the target from, let me flip back to the daily chart. Again, remember, we were just looking at the reaction versus this 44. Had it held, I would have been long. We would have been going again for prior day low, prior day high, and then this little near-term range high. It failed. Again, I'm not in the prediction business. I just react to what price is showing me. Now, as far as where the targets came from, if this low fails, the assumption is that we look left on the chart, we see the nearest reference point. It's going to be right here. This daily candle low, which is 42.2. I had the level right there. It initially defended in the morning. We had an opportunity to get short again, right at VWAP, right at 44. 2 opportunities actually to re-short. Now, once this level failed, where I had the initial target, you can see almost a waterfall. Just a quick move lower, put in another percentage, almost 2% lower again. That level now acts as resistance, right? And so we did not see the follow through into PT2, but that's all right. This stock already put in almost 7% intraday. That's plenty. Should be able to hit your daily goal on a move like that. But as far as where I got the second target on the short side from, there's just the gap fill right here. There's a big open gap right here. We were looking for that gap to fill. Maybe we'll see that happen tomorrow. I don't know for sure. Maybe we'll see it happen into the close. But this was the recap on JD. This is how I'm going to approach a trade that is reporting earnings where the daily setup is not totally clear. Basically, you want to set your pivot level based on the higher time frame charts. Let price develop some type of structure or some type of reaction versus that level. You don't need to be the first guy in there. And then initiate your position once you have confirmation of the move. Hope you guys found this helpful. As always, if you have questions, if you're in the think tank, please go ahead and DM me. If you're not in the think tank and you're an options trader, what are you doing? You need to be in the think tank. But if you do have questions, go ahead and just comment below. I'll get back to you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.